Glycolic acid. Glycolic acid is an alpha hydroxy acid derived from sugarcane. It is a chemical exfoliator that dissolves the glue holding dead skin cells together. Once you wipe it across your face, the onset begins. You feel a faint prickle. The acid rapidly lowers the pH of your skin, forcing old cells to detach. Within minutes, the surface feels exceptionally smooth. At the peak, after a few weeks of use, your skin reflects light like glass. The dullness is gone. You look radiant, polished, and renewed. Popularized by toners like the Ordinary and Glow recipe, it is the holy grail for texture. But then comes the come down. Used too frequently, it does not just remove dead cells, it strips the living ones. The glow turns into a tight, plastic-looking shine. Redness creeps in. Your skin barrier cracks, leaving you exposed to bacteria and severe irritation. It is a chemical that promises a fresh start but will burn your foundation down if you get greedy. Salicylic acid. Salicylic acid is a beta-hydroxy acid. Unlike surface sweepers, this chemical is oil-soluble. It is found in cleansers and spot treatments like the viral Paula's Choice liquid. When you apply it to a breakout, it bypasses the water barrier and dives straight into your pores. The onset is invisible. Inside the pore, it acts like a microscopic plumber, dissolving hardened sebum, dirt, and dead makeup. At the peak, the inflammation shrinks, blackheads dissolve. The bump you felt yesterday flattens into nothing. It feels like ultimate control over your complexion. But the come down is harsh. Salicylic acid shuts down oil production so effectively that it leaves the skin desperate for moisture. Flaky patches emerge around the nose and chin. The skin feels tight and fragile. It eliminates the acne, but forces you to constantly repair the drought it creates. Hyaluronic acid. Hyaluronic acid is not an exfoliator. It is a humectant, a moisture magnet naturally found in your body. It comes in thick, slippery serums. Once it touches damp skin, the onset is instant. A single molecule can hold 1,000 times its weight in water. It acts like a microscopic sponge, swelling up and pushing the skin outward. At the peak, fine lines vanish. The skin looks plump, bouncy, and deeply hydrated. The viral Cosrx serums have made this a daily ritual. It feels like feeding a thirsty plant. But there is a trap. The come down happens when the air around you is dry. Hyaluronic acid is relentless. If it cannot find moisture in the environment, it pulls it from the deepest layers of your own skin, dragging it to the surface where it evaporates. That dewy glow quickly turns into profound, inescapable dryness. It is a chemical that promises endless hydration, but will steal your own moisture if you are not careful. L-Ascorbic acid, better known as vitamin C. L-Ascorbic acid is a powerful antioxidant. It is usually a watery serum applied every morning. Once it sinks in, the onset begins with a metallic scent and a slight sting. It acts as an invisible shield, intercepting free radicals from UV light and city pollution before they can mutate your cells. At the peak, it blocks the production of melanin. Dark spots from old acne start to fade. The overall tone of your face brightens significantly. You look awake, vibrant, and protected. But L-ascorbic acid is incredibly unstable. The come down is chemical degradation. Exposed to light or air, the serum oxidizes, turning a murky orange in the bottle. On your face, oxidized vitamin C can actually stain your pores black, mimicking the blackheads it is supposed to prevent. It is a highly demanding chemical. It protects you from the environment but constantly fights to destroy itself in the process. Retinoic acid. Retinoic acid, or retinol, is a vitamin A derivative. It is the gold standard for anti-aging. It is a thick cream applied exclusively in the dark. Once it enters the skin, the onset is deceptively quiet. You feel nothing, but deep inside, it is communicating directly with your DNA, telling your skin cells to divide and regenerate faster. At the peak, months later, the results are unmatched. Fine lines are smoothed, collagen is rebuilt, sun damage is reversed, your skin physically behaves like it did a decade ago. But getting to the peak requires surviving the come down, universally known as the purge. Weeks into the process, the rapid cell turnover pushes everything hidden to the surface. Massive breakouts erupt. The skin peels in sheets. Your face burns when you simply wash it with water. It is highly irritating. Retinoic acid breaks your skin down completely, forcing it to rebuild stronger. It promises eternal youth, but demands absolute suffering to achieve it. Polyhydroxy acids. Polyhydroxy acids, or PHAs, are the new generation of exfoliators. Think of them as the gentle giants. They're applied just like other acids, but the onset is totally different. The molecules are massive. They're too large to penetrate the skin deeply. Instead, they sit right on top. At the peak, they gently loosen the very top layer of dead skin while simultaneously drawing moisture in. The result is a soft, irritation-free glow. There's almost no sting. It feels safe. The come down is entirely psychological. Because it is so gentle, you do not feel the immediate aggressive smoothness that harsher acids provide. You might think it is not working. You might get impatient and reach for something stronger. PHAs are perfectly balanced, but they require you to accept that true healing is quiet and slow. Azelaic acid. Azelaic acid is a naturally occurring acid produced by yeast on normal skin. It is prescribed for severe redness and rosacea. Once smoothed over the cheeks, the onset is strange. It often causes a distinct, persistent itch or a prickly heat that lasts for 20 minutes. At the peak, it acts as a fierce anti-inflammatory. Angry red patches cool down. Stubborn pigmentation from old wounds starts to break apart. It is highly effective at calming chaos, but the come down is a matter of texture and patience. It is notoriously difficult to formulate, often leaving a chalky, pillowy residue that refuses to layer under makeup, and it works agonizingly slowly. Azelaic acid forces you to wait months for clarity. It does not offer a quick fix. It demands a long-term commitment to peace. Lactic acid. Lactic acid is an alpha-hydroxy acid originally derived from sour milk. It is the gentler, more hydrating sibling to glycolic acid. Once it touches the skin, the onset is a mild, comforting tingle. Because its molecules are slightly larger, it does not penetrate as deeply or as violently. At the peak, it acts as a dual force. It melts away the top layer of dead gray skin while simultaneously pulling moisture into the newly exposed cells. Your face looks instantly plumped, bright, and deeply conditioned. It is the core of luxury treatments like Sunday Riley Good Genes. But the come down is deceptive. Because it feels so hydrating, people forget it is still a chemical exfoliant. They apply it every single day, chasing that initial baby-soft texture. Slowly, the hydration gives way to a slick, over-exfoliated shine. The barrier weakens silently. It is a chemical that wraps its destructive power in a blanket of moisture, making it incredibly easy to accidentally misuse. The world of skincare chemistry is deep, complex, and full of hidden traps. Since this is my very first video, my honest goal is just to build a cozy space where we can finally understand exactly what we're putting on our faces without the confusing marketing. If this helped you make sense of your routine today, it would mean the absolute world to me if you subscribed and helped this new community grow. Let me know in the comments what category of products we should decode next.